It makes some sound. Hare Krishna. So today we will be discussing on the beautiful characteristics of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the most munificent incarnation of Krishna who has appeared on this planet just about 5 centuries back to give us something which is most precious and most required for all the living beings, that is Krishna Prema. Okay, so let's discuss this. Do you want to do something here? You are done? Should I continue? Okay, fine, great. Oh, I'm unable to see the. I'm unable to see the screen, bro. Huh? Duplicate means? Control? This is Mac. This is Mac.
It's Command P.
Command is free.
It's Command P.
Do na, please do. Remove this. Remove this.
Oh, you're seeing no problem, huh?
It's slide mode, not the slide mode. I need to see this. Okay, fine. Yes, you can connect. Hare Krishna. So, before discussing about the characteristics of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, let's discuss about Mahaprabhu's Tattva. So, who is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? He is the combination of Radha and Krishna. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir Haladini Shaktirasmad Ekatma Navapi Bhuvipura Deha Bhedo Gatautau Chaitanyakhyam Prakata Madhuna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhavadyuti Subalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir. So, the transformations of Radha and Krishna's pranaya, the loving pastimes, are all manifestations of Hladini Shakti, the internal potency of Krishna. It's not coming there. Something wrong with the projector. Hare Krishna. Thank you, thank you. Hare Krishna. Something wrong today. Okay, no problem. I'll adjust. Bro, you can take it there. You can do whatever experiment is needed. I'll start speaking. I don't want this. I just want the full screen. Okay, fine. Thank you. You see Radharani? Okay. Be happy with Radharani Darshan. Hare Krishna. Let's not waste time. So, Gaura Tattva is described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in this way. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikruter Haladini Shakti Rasmad Ekatma Navapi Bhuvipura Deha Bhedo Gatau Tau Chaitanyakhyam Prakata Madhuna Tadvayam Chaikyamaptam Radha Bhavadyuti Subalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikrutir Haladini Shakti Rasmat. All the pastimes of Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna are manifested by Krishna's spiritual potency, okay, which is called Haladini Shakti. The most confidential aspect of Krishna's spiritual potency is the Ananda potency, the pleasure potency. And all the Radha Krishna pastimes are manifestations of that Haladini Shakti. Ekatma now api bhuvipura deha bhedo gatau tau. Although they are one, they have manifested in two forms. Deha bhedo gatau tau. And again they have become one. Chaitanyakhyam prakata madhuna tadvayam chaikyamaptam. Although they have manifested in two forms, again they have become one in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it happened in this way. Radha Bhavadyuti Suvalitam Naumi Krishna Swarupam. Krishna has accepted Radha Bhava and Radha Dyuti. He accepted the complexion of Srimati Radharani, and he also accepted the emotion of Radharani and manifested himself as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why is it so? Because Krishna felt that I cannot sufficiently reciprocate with the love and affection that is shown by the gopis towards me. And the best of all the gopis is Srimati Radharani. So I don't have the sufficient capacity, bandwidth to reciprocate with the unlimited loving service rendered by the gopis of Vrindavan. I can't do much. Okay. Therefore, the only way I can glorify their prema is by manifesting myself in their mood. Okay, I cannot reciprocate with their love. I cannot repay. Naparayeham niravadya samvijam. Krishna himself told the gopis of Vrindavan, even if you give me one full lifetime of Brahma, I don't have the capacity to repay my debt to you. I owe a lot to you for all the wonderful service you have done. I cannot repay sufficiently. So better you be satisfied with the service that you have rendered. I can't repay. So what does that mean? It means that when we sincerely render service to Krishna, selflessly render service to Krishna, that selfless service itself satisfies ourself. In comparison to the satisfaction of selfless service, even Krishna does not have anything more, anything better to offer to us. Gopis, Krishna told that gopis, I cannot sufficiently reciprocate with the loving service that you have done to me. You be satisfied with your own seva. I don't have anything to repay to you. So, as a testimony to their unlimited divine love, Lord Krishna accepted Radharani's mood and became Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? It's a testimony for the gopis' love. So there are multiple reasons why Mahaprabhu appeared as, why Krishna appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. श्रीराधाया प्रणय विकृतेर्हलादिने श्रीराधाया प्रणय महिमा कीदृशो वा नयैव स्वाद्यो येनाद्भुतमधुरिमा कीदृशो वा मदीयः सौख्यं चास्यामदनुभवतः कीदृशो वेत्ति लोभात् तद्भावाढ्यः समजनिशची गर्भसिन्धौ हरिन्दुः. Although Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he has three unfulfilled desires. Three desires that he could not fulfill. Although he is Atmarama, although he is Aptakama, he also has some desires to be fulfilled, and three he could never fulfill. First, Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidrisho Vanayaiva. What is the Pranaya Mahima? What is the greatness of Srimati Radharani's love? He could never understand. She is doing service to me, and I am receiving her service, but her happiness is 10 million times more than my happiness. What is this? So Krishna became very curious to understand the greatness of her love. Because of her love, loving service, she is deriving so much happiness. He is curious to understand that love. Then, Svadyo yenad bhuta madhurima kidrisho vamadiyah. I can't understand the extent of my own sweetness. My sweetness is best relished by Srimati Radharani, and I don't have the ability to relish my own sweetness. Sugar or rasgulla or gulab jamun cannot understand its own taste. Only someone who is eating can understand its taste, right? So similarly, Krishna cannot understand the extent of his own sweetness. Only his devotees understand his sweetness. And amongst all the devotees of Krishna, Srimati Radharani is the topmost, foremost. So she understands, she experiences Krishna's sweetness to the maximum possible degree. And Krishna is very curious to understand the extent of Radharani's love, first reason. Second, the extent of his own sweetness. Got it? Two reasons. Third reason is, when Radharani is looking at me, when Radharani is rendering service to me, when Radharani is seeing me, hearing me, or doing whatever pastimes with me, what is her happiness? I want to experience her happiness. So Krishna wanted to experience the happiness of Radharani. So these are the three unfulfilled desires. First is, he wanted to understand the greatness of Radha's love. Second is, he wants to understand the extent of his own sweetness. Third is, he wants to personally experience the happiness that Radharani is experiencing in Krishna's service. Second reason is, why Rasmalai is so sweet, tasty. Third is, one who is eating Rasmalai becomes happy, right? What is that happiness? I want to experience it. Right? That's the difference between second and third. They seem little similar. So these are the reasons why Krishna chose to appear as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Tadbhavadhyah samajanishachi garbhasindhau harinduhu. With these three unfulfilled desires in his heart, Lord Krishna appeared as the son of Sachi Mata. Okay. Sachi Mata's Garbha is compared to an ocean, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is compared to the moon that took birth from the ocean, Harinduhu. Okay. So these are the reasons why Mahaprabhu appeared. And these are internal reasons, confidential reasons, but there are some reasons that we can relate with. You know what are they? Krishna wants to appear as a devotee of Krishna and teach us how to perform devotional service to Krishna. So he adopted the mode of a devotee to teach us bhakti, Krishna bhakti. He wants to establish the yoga dharma of Harinam Sankirtan. And he also wants to offer Krishna prema to all of us in the mood of Vrajavasis. Chiradadattam nijagupta vittam svaprema namamrtamatyudaraham apamaram yo vitatara gauraham Krishno janebhyastamaham prapadye. Chirad adattam, Krishna thought, after Krishna appeared on this planet and performed his leelas for more than a century, Krishna went back to the spiritual world, and there he thought, I have not given Krishna Prema to people of the planet Earth for a long time. So I need to give. Chiradadattam nijagutavittam. I have not given this most secret, confidential and valuable treasure to people of the material world. I need to give that. What is that? Swaprema namamrutamatyudaraham. Swaprema namamrutam. Krishna wanted to offer Krishna Prema through Krishna Nama. So by chanting Krishna Nama, we get Krishna Prema. Swaprema namamrutamatyudaraha. Ati udaraha. Krishna in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is extremely benevolent. A devotee is more merciful than Krishna. You agree? Devotee is more merciful than Krishna. Krishna is very powerful. Devotee is very merciful. When that very powerful Krishna adopts the mood of a devotee, you can imagine how much merciful he is. Devotee is merciful, not all powerful. Devotee is more merciful. Krishna is all powerful. So all powerful Krishna adopted the mood of a devotee and became most merciful. Mahavadanyaya. So therefore the extent of mercy that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can provide to all of us is unimaginable. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So I can sit straight sometimes. So, and whom is he giving this benediction to? Swaprema namamrutamatyudaraha apamaramyo vitatara gauraha. He is giving to most pamara, fallen people also. He is not discriminating. Okay, mercy is available only to Brahmanas, only to Kshatriyas, only to rich people, only to Indians, only to Americans. He is not discriminating. Without any such partiality or discrimination, the Lord is distributing Krishna Prema and Krishna Nama to everybody. Right? Apamaramyo vitatara gauraha Krishno janebhya tamaham prapadye. Let us offer obeisances unto him. Let us take shelter of the Lord. Adbhuta dayalu chaitanya adbhuta vadanya aichha dayalu data loke nahi suni anya. Adbhuta Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is extremely wonderful. Adbhuta Vadanya, he is most benevolent. His benevolence is very wonderful. Aiche Dayalu Data Loke Nahi Suni Anya. We have not heard of anyone who is so merciful like him. It's working now. Thank you very much. Simple mic, simple projector. Sarva Bhave Bhajaloka Chaitanya Charana. Yaha haite paiba Krishna prema amrita dhana. Therefore, everyone should take shelter of the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right? So by doing so, we will attain the treasure of Krishna Prema. Fine? There is a beautiful shloka written by Prabodhananda Saraswati in the Sri Chaitanya Chandramrita. Very sweet shloka. Prema namadbhutarthaha shravanapathagatah kasya namna mahimnah ko veta kasya vrinda vipinamaha madhurishu praveshah ko va janati radham paramarasa chamatkara madhurya simam ekas chaitanya chandraha Paramakarunaya Sarmavamishka Chakara. So this shloka describes how fortunate we are in getting access to the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prema namadbhutarthaha shravana pathagataha kasya namna mahimnaha. Prema nama adbhutarthaha. Adbhuta arthaha. Artha means the purpose of life. Prema pumartho mahan. Okay, the real purpose or goal of life is prema, Krishna Prema. How will we understand that Krishna Prema is the goal of life without Mahaprabhu? It is only by the grace of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we understood that our goal of life, goal of human life is to attain Krishna Prema. So there is an artha for this human life. We need to make our human life sarthaka. Sarthaka means meaningful, purposeful, useful, right? So that purpose of human life is achieved when we attain Krishna Prema And Krishna Prema is the goal of your life. Who taught this to all of us? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prema namadbhutarthaha Shravana patakataha kasya namahimnaha. And that prema is attained through nama. So Mahaprabhu said, attaining Krishna Prema is the goal of your life. And you can attain Krishna Prema through Krishna Nama. And he personally chanted Krishna Nama and induced all of us to chant Krishna Nama and enabled all of us to attain Krishna Prema. Who could have done this if Mahaprabhu has not come? Yadi Gaurna Haito. Next. Ko veta kasya vrinda vana vipina maha madhurishu praveshaha. Ko veta. Who will understand? Veta means to understand. Who will understand Vrindavana Vipina Mahamadhurishu Praveshaha? Who will understand and who will enter into the great sweetness of Vrindavan's pastimes of Krishna? Do we get entrance into Vrindavan without Mahaprabhu's grace? Do we get to understand Vraja Leelas without Mahaprabhu's grace? Mahaprabhu has been longing to reach Vrindavan, to visit Vrindavan since the day he took sannyas, since the moment he took sannyas. But for various reasons, because of the interventions of his own devotees, he could not visit Vrindavan for a long time. Okay, but somehow, after some years, Mahaprabhu entered Vrindavan. There he could not find Radhakund, he could not find Shyamkund, he could not find so many holy places, pastime places of Krishna. All of them are covered in about 4,500 years after Krishna's departure. So Mahaprabhu personally excavated, he identified where is Radhakund, where is Shyamkund. And he also appointed Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, go to Vrindavan, make Vrindavan as your headquarters and start excavating holy places, erect temples, establish worship there and enable people to access Radha Krishna. Mahaprabhu told, Ko veta kasya vrinda vana vipina maha madhurishu praveshaha. The sweetness of Vraja Leelas and Vraja Bhakti cannot be accessed without the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ko va janati radham paramarasa chamatkara madhurya simam. Ko va janati radham. Who will know Srimati Radharani? Even knowing Srimati Radharani is unimaginable without the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna appeared as Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radha and introduced how glorious Radharani is. The greatest of all the devotees of Krishna is Srimati Radharani. And we will understand, we will appreciate Srimati Radharani's devotion, and we will know that whatever little devotion we have for Krishna is only a minute fragmental part of Srimati Radharani's devotion for Krishna. Our Krishna Prema is a part and parcel, is an amsha of Radharani's Krishna Prema. We will understand it only by Mahaprabhu's grace. Ko va janati radham paramarasa chamatkara madhurya simam. Paramarasa chamatkara madhurya simam. Srimati Radharani is the limit of that highest rasa for Krishna. Paramarasa means the topmost rasa of all rasas is Shringara rasa, Madhurya rasa. And Srimati Radharani is the limit of that Madhurya Prema for Krishna. She manifests Madhurya love for Krishna more than any other consort of Krishna could ever manifest. In fact, all the gopis of Vrindavan, all the Lakshmis of Vaikuntha, all the queens of Krishna in Dwaraka, they are all expansions of Radharani. The conjugal love that they show towards the Supreme Lord in his various forms is only a part and parcel of Radharani's conjugal love for Krishna. Ko va janati radham paramarasa chamatkara madhurya simam. That Madhurya Sima is Srimati Radharani. We can understand it only by Mahaprabhu's grace. Ekas Chaitanya Chandraha Paramakarunaya Sarvamavischakara. only, one and only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Chandra, who has done this Avishkar of Krishna Nama, Krishna Prema, Radha Prema, Vraja Prema, all this access we got only by Mahaprabhu's grace. We will never know the greatness of Krishna Nama, Krishna Prema, Vrindavan and Radharani without Mahaprabhu. So this is Mahaprabhu's grace. And these are the highest points, highest spiritual secrets. But Mahaprabhu is just giving to lowest people also. That is his grace. So today, we will discuss 10 aspects of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy based on a shloka by Swarupa Damodar Goswami in the Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Are you able to follow? Is it getting too technical? No, right? So, Sri Chaitanya Sama Ara Kripalu Vadanya. You can also recite, you can see it, right? Bhaktavatsala na dekhi trijagate anyam. Kaviraj Goswami writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Samara Kripalu Vadanya. There is no one like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who can manifest such a degree of compassion. Kripalu, compassionate person, merciful person. Vadanya, very benevolent person. Bhakta Vatsala, very affectionate towards all his devotees. Na dheki trijagate anya. We have not seen anyone as merciful as him. Okay. So, let us see, based on this shloka, 10 characteristics of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. Helodhunita khedaya vishadaya pronmila damodaya. Recite. Helodhunita khedaya vishadaya pronmila damodaya. Shamyak Shastra Vivadaya Rasadaya Chittarpiton Madaya. Shashvat Bhakti Vinodaya Sabadaya Madhurya Maryadaya. Sri Chaitanya Daya Nidhe Tavadaya Bhuyadamandodaya. If you have noticed, there is 12 dayas in this one shloka. Helo dhunata khe daya vishadaya pronmila damodaya. Shamyak shastra vivadaya rasadaya chittarpitonmadaya. Shashvat Bhakti Vinodaya Samadaya Madhurya Maryadaya. Sri Chaitanya Dayanidhe Tava Daya Bhuyadamando Daya. Okay. So 12 dayas. And this one shloka describes 10 aspects of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. So let's see the 10 aspects one by one. You would like to hear stories or tattva? I will leave it to you. I can just summarize these 10 aspects and discuss some stories that demonstrate Mahaprabhu's mercy, or we can just go speak lot of several nectar shlokas and focus only on the qualities of Mahaprabhu without getting into so many stories, pastimes. What do you want? Pastimes. Okay, fine. Let's discuss pastimes also. First. So, Helo Dhunita Khedaya means Mahaprabhu's mercy. First characteristic of Mahaprabhu's mercy is it drives away lamentation. Okay? Mahaprabhu's mercy drives away all miseries. Second, Vishadaya, Mahaprabhu's mercy purifies everything, purifies the contaminated hearts of people. Third, Pronmila Damodaya, Mahaprabhu's mercy awakens transcendental bliss, right? Amodaya. Fourth, Shamyak Shastra Vivadaya. There are so many disagreements in the Shastric statements. Some Shastric statements say that we and God are equal, means qualitatively. And some say there is no difference between the, some Shastric statements say there is no difference between the Lord and his energies. Some statements say there is difference between the Lord and his energies. These are called Bhedavakyas, these are called Abhedavakyas. Mahaprabhu reconciled both. Yes, Bhedavakyas are correct, Abhedavakyas are also correct. There is oneness between the Lord and his energies, that is called Advaita. There is difference between the Lord and his energies, this is called Dvaita. If a person takes all the Bhedavakyas literally and ignores all the Abhedavakyas, then one gets into Dvaitavad. If one takes Abhedavakyas literally and considers Bhedavakyas figuratively, one will get into Advaita. But Mahaprabhu says both are correct. This is also correct, that is also correct. The Lord is the supremely energetic person and we are his energies. Right? Without energies, there is no meaning to the energetic person. Right? Without energetic person, there is no existence for the energy. Right? Thus energy and energetic are together. So therefore there is oneness. At the same time, energetic person is doing so many activities while the energy is functioning in a certain way. So there is difference also. Any ambiguity? Add the word achintya. Okay, if there is an ambiguity, add the word achintya. Achintya bheda abheda tattva. Okay. So Lord and we are one qualitatively, different quantitatively. Right? If there is anything ambiguous, add the word achintya, inconceivable. Inconceivably one and different. So Mahaprabhu reconciled the disagreements of Shastric statements and established the achintya bheda bheda tattva. Fifth, rasadaya, the Lord distributes mellow, rasas. Sixth, chittarpitonmadaya, the Lord causes jubilation of heart. Then seventh, shashvat bhakti vinodaya, the Lord always inspires devotional service. Right? He always inspires bhakti in the hearts of his devotees. Eighth, samadaya, accompanied by the joy, just like Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Susukham kartum avyayam. Bhakti is very joyfully performed. Even children can perform bhakti. Old people can perform bhakti. Anybody from any nation, any background can perform bhakti joyfully. So he awakens that accompanied joy of bhakti. He inspires bhakti and he also bestows joy of bhakti. Ninth, madhurya maryadaya. He also glorifies the limit of madhurya rasa. We already discussed, right, some time back. Kova janati radham parama rasa chamatkara madhurya simam. Krishna establishes, Mahaprabhu establishes Srimati Radharani as the Sima of Madhurya Prema. So, Madhurya Maryadaya. He glorifies the limit of Madhurya Rasa. 10th, he is Amandodaya. He awakens all good fortune. These are the 10 characteristics of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. So, generally I go one by one, quoting relevant shlokas for each of these items. But because you wanted past names, I will discuss some past names in which these items are, these 10 characteristics of Mahaprabhu's mercy are highlighted nicely. Let's take one past time. First characteristic, Helo Dhunita Khedaya. So there is this shloka by Sarabhau Bhattacharya. Satatam janata bhavata paharam paramartha parayana lokagatim Navalehakaram jagatapaharam pranamami shachi sutta gauravaram. Satatam janata bhavatapaharam. Mahaprabhu is constantly endeavoring to destroy all the bhavatapas, the material miseries of all conditioned souls. Paramartha parayana loka gatim. And he is the gati. He is the goal of those who are actually aspiring to attain the real paramartha. What is paramartha? We just discussed some time back. Artha, what is the supreme artha of life? Prema, prema pumartho mabhan. That is parama artha of life. Panchama purushartha. So Mahaprabhu is inspiring us to embrace that paramartha. Right? Navalehakaram Jagatapaharam Pranamami Shachi Sutta Gauravaram. So Mahaprabhu is extremely benevolent, and he burns the fever of material existence by invoking bhakti in us, and specifically he teaches Srimad Bhagavatam. One of the 7 characteristics of Srimad Bhagavatam, as highlighted by that shloka, Dharma Projita Kaitavottara Paramo shloka, is Tapatrayon Moolanam. Bhagavatam is known to destroy all the tapatrayas, right? So, Mahaprabhu established Srimad Bhagavatam as the topmost evidence, as the supreme scripture, and as enabled Tapatrayon Moolanam in the lives of all living beings, especially human beings, those who have taken shelter of Mahaprabhu. Now, let's discuss one little story. So, there is this Vasudeva leper. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was planning to go for South India Yatra. Okay. Once, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after settling down in our Jagannath Puri, he planned to go for South India Yatra. He called all his devotees. He needs permission, right? Although he is Sarva Swatantra, although he is supremely independent, he depends on the permission, Anumati, okay, blessings of his devotees. Without his Anumati, without their blessings and permission, Mahaprabhu would not even go for Yatra also. Yatra requires permission. So, Mahaprabhu called all his devotees. Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodara, Mukunda. Very close associates. He said, my dear devotees, I can give up my life, but I cannot give up my friendship with any of you. You are my heart and soul. Because you have done those activities, those favors that friends are supposed to do, I am very obliged to you. What did they do? Mahaprabhu clarified. You have brought me all the way to Jagannath Puri and showed me Jagannath. So whoever brings anyone closer to Jagannath Ji is the dearest friend. We may have so many friends, they must have done so many favors to us, but the real favor, the supreme favor that one can receive from anyone is bringing ourselves closer to Krishna. Whoever brings us closer to Krishna, whoever inspires devotion within us, whoever gives darshan of Jagannath is the dearest friend for all of us. Friendship can begin in various ways. We may have friendly relationships with some people for different reasons. We are both are coming from Karnataka only. We both studied in the same school. We both have the same mother tongue. We both like gulab jamun. Okay, or I like gulab jamun, you don't like gulab jamun. So whenever you get gulab jamun, you give it to me, right? Thus friendships can be established based on multiple reasons. Okay, but the greatest reason, topmost reason for establishing a cordial relationship between two people is one of them brings other person closer to Krishna, right? So when we try to inspire each other in coming closer to Krishna, then our friendship is thick. Friendship is spiritual. Otherwise it's a material friendship on a bodily plane. So Mahaprabhu said, I thank all of you, Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodara, Mukunda. You have brought me all the way to Jagannath Puri and showed me Jagannath Ji. I am very obliged to you. Thank you so much. Now I have a request for you. I am begging you to give me permission to go for South India Yatra. And all the devotees said, yes, fine, let's go for Yatra. Let's go, nahi. I will go, you stay back. Right? So I will go for Yatra, you should stay back at Jagannath Puri. Then everyone is shocked. They are not very happy to give permission. Why is he asking permission? He's taking us, right? They were thought like that for a moment, but Mahaprabhu caused a lot of disappointment in their hearts. He said, I cannot take you for Yatra. Then all the devotees said, why I want to go alone? Then Mahaprabhu said, My brother, elder brother, who is elder brother of Mahaprabhu? Vishwambhar, Vishwarupa. So Vishwarupa has already taken sannyas when Mahaprabhu is a very small child, Nimai. So then Mahaprabhu said, I want to search for my brother. I have heard that he is somewhere in South India, I will go and search for him. By the time, Vishwarup has already attained Siddhi Prapti. He has already attained the spiritual world, he is not there in this world, and Mahaprabhu knows that. But still, he said, I want to go and search for my brother. And he was cheating his devotees, cheating Jagannath Puri devotees. You know why? He is cheating his own personal associates to give Krishna Prema to all of us, South Indians. Right? So, he wanted to induce Krishna Prema in the people of South India. He wanted to give Krishna Nama to all of them. Therefore, he told, you don't come with me, I will go alone. Fine, if he takes them, what's the problem? They can also come, right? They will also assist Mahaprabhu in distributing Krishna Prema. Distribution will become faster. Okay, book distribution. This is love distribution. So, love of Godhead distribution is happening. If Mahaprabhu takes 4 more assistants, what's the problem? Mahaprabhu said there is a big problem. Problem number 1 with Nityananda Prabhu. Okay, Nityananda Prabhu does not allow me to follow my sannyas rules. I was coming from Shantipur to Jagannath Puri. On the way, I just entered this Nadi, Dandabhanga Nadi, to take bath. And by the time I took bath and came out, Nityananda Prabhu broke my sannyas danda into 3 pieces and threw them into the river. And he is lying to me. He said, I am dancing and chanting in ecstasy and I fell down on my rod and I broke it. Right? So he has broken my sannyas danda, which is my only property. And how can I take him? I cannot take him. On top of it, after taking this, taking sannyas, I immediately wanted to go to Vrindavan. But Nityananda Prabhu intervened. And he diverted me to Shantipur. Right? Mahaprabhu, as soon as he took sannyas, he was in great ecstasy. He was chanting that shloka. What was that? Avanti Brahmana shloka. Etam sa asthaya paratmanishta adhyasitam purvatamair maharshibhir aham tarishyami durantaparam tamo mukundang hrinishevayaiva. He was chanting this shloka. I will chant the holy names of Krishna, I will take shelter of Lord Mukunda's lotus feet, and I will cross over this material existence. I am Paratmanishta, I am totally dedicated to Mukunda Seva only. And he was chanting like this, and in ecstasy, he was not recognizing whether he is going left or right or east or west or north or south. He is just moving like that. And Nityananda Prabhu intervened. He planned. Mahaprabhu is going to Vrindavan now. He is in ecstasy anyways. Good time for me to cheat him. So I will divert him to Shantipur. He was closely observing. Then Mahaprabhu moved ahead and he saw some small cowhead boys. He told them, chant Krishna, chant Hari, chant Govinda. Then all these boys started chanting, Krishna, 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 Krishna. Okay. Then Mahaprabhu felt successful. When we chant Krishna's names, Mahaprabhu feels that I have become successful. Just like some children are there, sometimes they don't eat food, right? They say, no, we will not eat. And parents want them to eat. Okay? They have to push them, eat this, eat just one idli, take a half idli. But the child is saying, no, I don't want. Something is there in the mind of the child. But somehow or the other, mother makes the child take 1 or 2 idlis and feed the medicine. Then she feels successful. I am successful now. Right? I have accomplished this great task of feeding this fellow 2 idlis. Otherwise, he is not even eating only. Mothers have some experience, right? Right? I have seen many mothers like that. So, just like parents feel so successful in making their children eat, in making their children learn 2 plus 2 equal to 4, in making their kids write A, B, C, D. Similarly, Mahaprabhu also feels successful in making us chant the holy names of Krishna. Right? If we say Krishna, Krishna, he feels very successful. Yes, I have become successful now. They are chanting. So Mahaprabhu felt very successful in making these cowhead boys chant, and then he moved ahead. Basically, the Lord comes in the form of so many incarnations only to induce us to take his shelter. And the most effective of taking shelter of Krishna is to chant his holy names. And Mahaprabhu specifically came to make us chant. So Mahaprabhu is moving in ecstasy. Then Nityananda Prabhu came there. He called that boys, cowhead boys, and said, if Mahaprabhu asks you the way to Vrindavan, you should show him this pathway next to Ganga. And the cowhead boys said, yes, we will do like this. And then they said the same thing to Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu thought that Ganga is Yamuna, and he started walking. Then you know what has happened. It's a very long story. So finally, Nityananda Prabhu diverted Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the house of Advaita Acharya. There it was decided that Sachimata said, you please stay in Jagannath Puri. Okay? So Mahaprabhu recollected all these incidents. I cannot take Nityananda Prabhu to South India Yatra because he did not allow me to Vrindavan Yatra. He did not allow me to go for Vrindavan. He did not allow me to carry Sannyas Danda also. If I take him to South India Yatra, what all he will do, God knows. Okay? He's God, but he's saying, I cannot understand, I cannot take him. Nityananda Prabhu said, Aicha hai, how can that happen? I will come with you. He said, take some of us with you, and better you take me. If you take me, I will take you to all most holiest places in South India. I know South India in and out. Right? You please take me. Mahaprabhu is saying, you cannot come with me. So Nityananda Prabhu rejected. Next. Who is the next? Jagadananda. Jagadananda Pandit has the mood of Satyabhama. Very demanding, okay, very dominant, okay. So Jagadananda Pandit cooks some elaborate meals and expects Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to eat. And Mahaprabhu says, I am a sannyasi, I am not supposed to eat so much, but he pushes him, you must eat this. If you don't eat it, I will not talk to you. He will not say that also, he will not give that announcement also. If Mahaprabhu does not act according to Jagadananda Prabhu's expectations even slightly, Jagadananda will go into Manlila. He will lock himself behind doors and he will not even speak for 3 days, he will not eat for 3 days. Mahaprabhu has to go and console him, pacify him. I'm sorry, feed me. Whatever you want, you feed me. And Jagadananda Pandit will not even look at Mahaprabhu, only to make him speak. Mahaprabhu says, I am very hungry. Today I want to eat the food cooked by you. Then Jagadananda gets ecstatic and he gets up from his seat and then he cooks elaborately and he would push him. Mahaprabhu says, I cannot eat. No, you have to eat. So out of fear of Jagadananda, Mahaprabhu would eat more than what he can eat generally. So this is Jagadananda Pandit's style. If I take him for a preaching yatra tour, what all leelas he will do, I can't understand. So better he stays back. Jagadananda rejected. Accepted at heart, rejected only for yatra. Right? So Nityananda, Jagadananda are gone. Damodara. So Mahaprabhu says, Damodara Pandit is too strict. He's a brahmachari, I am a sannyasi. Right? He is supposed to be subordinate to me. But he takes a stick in his hand and he disciplines me as if I don't know any social etiquette only, as if I don't know any rules and regulations of sannyas only. He keeps on correcting me. He is always correcting me. You are not supposed to do this. You are not supposed to do this. You are supposed to do this. He disciplines me. If the Janta in South India sees that this sannyasi is constantly being disciplined by this brahmachari, who is sannyasi, who is brahmachari, they will get confused. Right? So I cannot take him. So he is rejected. Then what about Mukunda? Mukunda is not strict like Damodar Pandit. Mukunda is not very aggressive and oppressive or dominant like Jagadananda Pandit. You can take him. Mukunda is even more dangerous in the sense that I do my rules, austerities as a sannyasi. I am supposed to take cold water bath even in the early morning, even in winter season. I have to lie down on the floor. So when I am following the natural austerities that sannyasis are supposed to do, Mukunda becomes so unhappy. He is so unhappy at heart. Seeing his unhappiness, I will become doubly unhappy. Right? So I cannot tolerate his unhappiness, I will not take him also. And like that, Mahaprabhu is rejecting all the prominent associates, and he is saying, I will go alone for yatra. The reason why Mahaprabhu is doing this is that all the intimate associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants him to be comfortable, to enjoy. When he is following the rules and regulations of sannyasis, they feel so pained at heart. Oh, Mahaprabhu is sitting on the floor, he should sit on a throne. Mahaprabhu is sitting, sleeping on floor, he should sleep on a nice bed. So, seeing the austerities, sannyasa austerities of Mahaprabhu, his devotees will become very pained at heart. Seeing their pain, Mahaprabhu is more pained. So, let me avoid their pain, let me avoid my pain also. Let me do my preaching work. So, in intimacy, this love and affection will take precedence. But in public, social etiquettes must take precedence. So, intimacy and love that compromise on social etiquettes and disciplined behavior are not very favorable for preaching. Although we share intimate relationship with our own close devotees, but we need to be more sober and gentle when we go in the eyes of public. They may misinterpret in different ways. So I will not be able to follow my sannyas ashram rules when I have these intimate associates with me. They love me, I understand that, but Mahaprabhu is cheating them, and he told them that I want to search for my brother. All the brother is not there. So Mahaprabhu is apparently cheating them and finding faults with them so that he can preach Krishna Nam and Krishna Prem to all of us. This is Mahavadanyaya. Naturally, anyone would love to be in a place where he is loved. When we are receiving love, affection, prem from some people, we naturally would love to be in their company. But Mahaprabhu is taking himself out of that loving company of intimate devotees who are his eternal companions to show mercy to all of us. Same thing Krishna also did. Krishna is not so excited to orchestrate Kurukshetra war as much as he is excited to have loving exchanges with Vrajavasis and Dwarkavasis. Krishna is more excited to perform such simple, sweet pastimes with the Vrajavasis and all the queens of Dwaraka. He is not that excited to orchestrate Kurukshetra war, but Krishna is doing it as a duty. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya. It is my duty. So Krishna is dutifully doing this also. Similarly, sometimes we may not be very excited to do some service, but if it is our responsibility, we should take it up. So anyways, Mahaprabhu, out of compassion towards all the people of South India, Mahaprabhu cheated his own devotees, tolerated separation from his own devotees, and he came for South India Yatra. So when Mahaprabhu came to Kurmakshetra, on the way he was chanting Krishna, 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 Hey, Krishna, 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 Hey. Krishna, 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 Raksha Mam. Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahi Mam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Raksha Mam. Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Pahi Mam. In this way, Mahaprabhu is chanting and dancing in great ecstasy and traveling in South India Yatra. He would embrace one devotee and induce that devotee with Krishna Prema and make him chant Krishna Nama, and he will move ahead. And that devotee who got the embrace of Mahaprabhu, he will go to his village and he will embrace few more people. They will also go into madness of ecstasy of chanting Krishna's name and dancing in Krishna Prem. So this is how Mahaprabhu transformed so many such devotees in his travels. Eventually he came to Kurmakshetra. He met a Brahmana in that Kurmakshetra. And that Brahmana invited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, can you please come to my home? Mahaprabhu said, okay, fine, I'll come to your home. So this Kurma Brahmana told Mahaprabhu that today you have come to my home and all my ancestors have become successful, all my home and family and my treasure house, whatever I have, everything has become very fortunate and auspicious by your entrance. Your divine lotus feet are worshipped and praised even by great devatas like Brahma and Shiva, and those divine lotus feet have entered my home today. There is no end to my great fortune today. So thank you so much for coming here. So, but I have one request for you. I cannot stay at home. Okay, I am very much tormented and bothered by the material miseries here. So I cannot handle this bhavataranga. So you please take me with you, allow me to travel with you. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, you cannot travel with me. And never say like that. Stay home. Stay at home, chant Krishna's names and preach Krishna consciousness to everyone. Then you will never be affected by bhavataranga. So Mahaprabhu did not attempt to make everyone sannyasis. So although he is attempting to travel with Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu said you should chant the holy names of Krishna and you should try to spread the holy names of Krishna. And you chant and you read Gita and Bhagavatam. So if you do so, then the bhavataranga will not affect you. Yara dekhe tarakaha Krishna upadesh. You start speaking about Krishna with whomever you meet. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inspired Kurma Brahmana and he proceeded on his South India Yatra. Then there is one devotee named leper, Vasudeva. He is a Brahmana, but he had some leprosy. So he felt that I must immediately go to Kurma Brahmana's house and see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. With great eagerness, with great enthusiasm, he ran towards Lord Kurma Brahmana's house. Then by this time already Mahaprabhu left. Then this Vasudeva leper was lamenting. Mahaprabhu changed his yatra itinerary and he came back to Kurma Brahmana's house and saw this Vasudeva leper. No one had sent a text message to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Right, one Brahmana is waiting for you at Kurma Brahmana's house. You please come and see him if possible. Nobody had sent. Mahaprabhu at heart, he knows who is lamenting for him, who is longing to see him. So he has come back. And Mahaprabhu embraced the leprosy affected body of Kurma Brahmana and with great compassion he relieved him from all that leprosy. Although his body was filled with blood and pus and all the contamination, Mahaprabhu had absolutely no hesitation to touch his body. This is Mahavadanya. This is Mahaprabhu's mercy. Even when the child is affected by some disease, mother does not hesitate to touch the child, approach the child, even hug the child. That is her overwhelming love for the child. Mahaprabhu also, with that mercy, with that affection, bhakta vatsalyata, parental affection, he embraced Kurma Brahmana. So this is the nature of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. And as soon as Mahaprabhu touched his body, all his leprosy is gone. Therefore Mahaprabhu is called Vasudevamrita Prada. Okay, means one who bestowed mercy upon Vasudeva leper. Now Prataparudra Maharaj, you know him, right? Prataparudra Maharaj have heard that some sannyasi from Bengal has come to Jagannath Puri and settled there. But just within a couple of months only, he went for South India Yatra. After Mahaprabhu went for South India Yatra, this Prataparudra Maharaj came to know about Mahaprabhu and he has been longing to see Mahaprabhu since then. He waited for 2 years for Mahaprabhu's darshan. Mahaprabhu did South India Yatra for 2 years. So somehow this news that Mahaprabhu has delivered this Vasudeva leper has reached the ears of Prataparudra Maharaj. Then Prataparudra Maharaj understood Mahaprabhu is not an ordinary sannyasi. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Because with absolutely no hesitation, he has embraced the leprosy affected body of a Brahmana. That shows not just his power, his affection. So power is one thing. From a distance, he can just do some magic. All the leprosy is gone. That's power. But coming back from his yatra and embracing him shows affection. You understand? So affection and power are two different things. Right? So Mahaprabhu is powerful, great mystic in creating so many miracles of creating an instant mango tree. Okay, he will just plant the seed and it will become a tree and gives mangoes within a moment. So that's miracle, right? Like that, Mahaprabhu is not only into doing such miracles, he is also showing affection. So Prataparudra Maharaj could understand that Mahaprabhu is powerful and merciful, combination of power and mercy, and he thought he must be the Supreme Lord, right? Only the Supreme Lord is completely powerful and all merciful, right? So he has that Vatsalya affection, Bhakta Vatsalyata towards all his devotees. Okay. So now coming back to this Vasudeva leper episode, Vasudeva, his body was relieved from all this leprosy. At the same time, his heart is filled with all devotion, nourished with all devotion. Dhanyam tam naumi chaitanyam vasudevam dayardradhi nashtakushtam rupapushtam bhaktitushtam chakarayah. Dhanyam tam naumi chaitanyam vasudevam dayardradhi. How great and how fortunate is Vasudeva leper for receiving such a grace from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What did he receive? Nashtakushtam, his leprosy is gone. Rupapushtam, he got a very beautiful form as a strong Brahmana with well-built body. Bhakti tushtam, on top of it, his bhakti is nourished. Nashtakushtam, rupapushtam, bhakti tushtam, chakarayah. Now this Vasudeva leper said, my dear Lord, I received such a special mercy from you. So whenever a devotee receives some blessings from the Lord, either some external facilities or spiritual mercy, there is a possibility of a devotee becoming proud. So Vasudeva leper understood that I could become proud. Immediately he said, my dear Lord, let me not become proud. How can I not become proud? Can you please suggest some idea? Mahaprabhu said, chant the holy names of Krishna. If you chant Krishna's names, you will not become proud. Earlier Mahaprabhu said, Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtanaya sadaharihi. If you are humble, you can chant the holy name of Krishna always. Now Mahaprabhu is saying, if you chant the name of Krishna, you will become humble. Our humility will help us chant better. Our chanting will make us more humble. By chanting Krishna, 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 Krishna thousands of times, we are acknowledging Krishna's greatness over us. We are acknowledging Krishna's superiority over us. We are considering ourselves subordinates of Krishna, right? So generally a conditioned soul is endowed with this false ego, thinking oneself to be the enjoyer, proprietor, master, controller, etc., etc. But if the conditioned soul is saying Krishna, 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 Krishna hundreds of times, that means he is considering that Krishna is the controller, master, proprietor, enjoyer, I am not. If my sense of doership and enjoyership are more, I naturally cannot take someone else's name. If I am taking someone else's name, I am understanding that he is better than me. That humility is what Krishna's naam can create in us, can create in the heart of a chanter. So Mahaprabhu told, you chant Krishna's names, right? So this is one. There is one more episode like that. Once Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, let me show the picture. Once Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house to take prasad. So Mahaprabhu was very lovingly invited by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya for taking meals throughout the month. can you please come to my house every day for lunch? Every day? I cannot come. Mahaprabhu said, oh, if not 30 days, come for 25 days. 25 fine, right? 5 days to tea for you. Then Mahaprabhu said, 25 days I cannot do. Oh my God. At least 20 days you come. 10 days you eat somewhere else. 20 days give me that chance. You can't give me that also. Mahaprabhu said, 20 days is too much. It's 1/3, 2/3 of a month. I cannot come. Then he said, okay, fine, 15 days. Then all negotiations brought the figure to 5 days in a month. Okay. So Mahaprabhu finally agreed to eat 5 days. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has so much appetite, not to eat, to feed. Okay. He has so much appetite to feed all the sannyasis in the locality there. And he wants to give first preference to Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu went to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's home to take prasad. Very long story, to make it short. He was feeding so many items that he has lovingly prepared. And Shatir Mata. So the culture is not to address the woman directly with the name. Okay. Even in our childhood also we observed this. So we have some friend. Okay. That friend's mother. Okay. So and so sister. So and so's wife. So and so's daughter. So like that a mother is addressed. So here Shatir Mata. Direct name is not given. Shatir Mata means the mother of Shati, who is the daughter of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Basically Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's wife. So they both prepared so many items and he was lovingly feeding. Suddenly Amogha came there. So Amogha is the son-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He said, this much prasad, 12 people can eat, and this one sannyasi is eating so much. So it's such an unpleasant comment. So those who are obsessed with the mentality of criticism, they can't see time, place and circumstances. They are so excited to express their feelings and emotions only, and they don't show any sensitivity towards the feelings and emotions of others. So Mahaprabhu is a very, very special guest in the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, with deep love and affection, he invited Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home, but with absolutely no sensitivity, this Amogha passed such a derogatory comment on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was devastated by this. He took a stick, he chased Amogha. Amogha ran away, but Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is feeling that, my dear Lord, I have brought you to my home only to have you insulted at my home. I am such a fallen person, all condemnation upon me. And he chastised and cursed Amogha, let him die. Even if my daughter becomes a widow, I don't mind, let him die. So like that he was condemning, and even Shatir Mata also was condemning. So Mahaprabhu said, no, whatever Amogha said is perfect. A sannyasi is not supposed to eat too much. So Mahaprabhu is only seeing the positive aspect of it. So Dhruva Maharaj, he went to sit on mother's lap, father's lap. Then Suruchi said, you cannot sit because you are not my son. If you want to sit, you worship the Supreme Lord Vishnu, and if he gives you some boon, you take your next birth in my womb, then you can sit on the father's lap. So like that she harshly spoke many things, and Dhruva Maharaj was crying and went to his mother. And you know what Mother Suniti said? Whatever Suruchi said was correct only. Whatever desire you have, you should worship Vishnu. That's what she said, right? That's correct. So she ignored all the blasphemous and harsh statements of Suruchi and took only the positive statement there. What is that? Worship the Supreme Lord. Similarly, Mahaprabhu ignored all the bad, poor mentality of Amogha and took only that one line. Yes, Amogha said we should not eat so much, otherwise we will not be able to control senses. Right? Vacho vegam, manasaha krodha vegam, jihva vegam, udaropastha vegam. That's very much in line with Upadeshamrita. But Upadeshamrita is not there in the mind of Amogha. Amogha's mind is filled with some kind of naughty and offensive thoughts. Right? Insensitive thoughts. But Mahaprabhu took something positive there also. Then to keep the long story concise, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was lamenting, and eventually, just in short time, Amogha got cholera. Then Gopinath Acharya went and informed Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Amogha is suffering from cholera. Then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Amogha and said one thing. He kept his divine lotus hand on the chest of Amogha and said, this is your heart and this is the place for Krishna to stay. Why did you allow envy, pride and greed to sit here? It is Krishna's seat, right? Why did you allow the anartha of pride and envy to sit here? Krishna will feel very uncomfortable. Can you please throw these enemies of envy and pride from your heart? So, even after, even Narasimhadev, after killing Hiranyakashipu, you know what he did? He definitely, he opened the abdomen of Hiranyakashipu and took out the intestines and wore the intestines as a garland. But he did one more thing. He tore apart the chest of Hiranyakashipu and plucked out the heart and then examined it like this. He looked at the heart, the organ heart. Okay, this is my place. Why did this fellow enter? Why did this fellow allow envy, pride, lust and greed to sit here? And then he threw the heart, went and sat on the throne. Okay, so this heart is a place for Krishna's pastimes, place for Krishna to sit. When a special guest comes to your home, you offer that guest a nice seat, sofa. Okay, he sat there. Then Mr. Envy came. Okay, and you told your guest, can you just move like this? Envy wants to sit here. So you made the envy sit there. Then Mr. Pride came. Same seat. Okay, sit here also. Then Mr. Lust came. Okay, can you tell that guest, please make some space. Okay, so like that you allow all six anarthas to sit on the same seat. Krishna will get up and go away. Right? So we cannot have the same one heart for Krishna and anarthas also. Therefore, if we consciously clean our hearts, Krishna will protect us, right? So yesterday, I was having some interaction with children at Narasimha Giridhari temple. There is a small girl, 8-year-old girl. Okay, one girl asked a question, Prabhu, why should we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Then this 8-year-old girl said, Shambhavi, she raised her hand and said, I will answer the question. Yes, you answer. Then she said, our heart is very dirty. Okay, when we chant the holy names, our heart will become clean. This understanding even an 8-year-old kid also has by Prabhupada's grace, by Mahaprabhu's grace. You see, our heart is dirty with all these anarthas, envy, pride, greed, etc. So that heart will be cleansed if we chant the holy name of Krishna. Coming back to Amogha story, Mahaprabhu told, this heart is place for Krishna to sit. Why did you allow envy and pride to sit there? Throw them out. Then Mahaprabhu with his divine hand, he cured the cholera of Amogha, and he said, even a dog in the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is an object of my affection. What to speak of his son-in-law? This is how graceful and grateful Mahaprabhu is towards his devotees. How merciful Mahaprabhu is towards his devotees. So Mahaprabhu bestowed his divine mercy upon Amogha, and the real mercy upon Amogha was not just relief from cholera, but making him ecstatic in Krishna Prema. So Amogha started slapping his cheeks, and the cheeks were swollen, they became very reddish. And Gopinath Acharya caught his hands. Please don't feel like that. Don't slap yourself. So mistakes are very common, but an honest person realizes the mistake, admits the mistake, regrets for the mistake, tries not to repeat the mistake, and remembers the mistake. But arrogant people, they don't admit the mistake. They don't rectify the mistake, they justify the mistake. Amogha, although he did a mistake, he was honest enough to admit it and rectify it and try not to repeat it. And he realized, and Mahaprabhu showed mercy. So in this way, Mahaprabhu is showing so many examples by his own personal behavior, how a Vaishnava should behave, and he was merciful upon Vasudeva Lapar and Amogha and many such people. and induced them to chant the holy names of Krishna, and he's even cheating his own personal associates to give Krishna Prema to all the conditioned souls. He's tolerating separation from his own personal associates at Jagannath Puri to give his association to the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. Right? So this is how merciful Mahaprabhu is. There are unlimited glories of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We cannot discuss all of them, but today I will just discuss one shloka as a conclusion. The greatest mercy that Mahaprabhu has bestowed upon all of us is to give us a chance to chant Krishna Nama, right? So therefore we will discuss one shloka only on Krishna Nama. Yeah, this shloka we will discuss. Vishnurnamayva pumsaha Shamalamapharat punyamutpadayaccha Brahmadisthana bhogat Viratimatha guroh Shripada dvandva bhaktim Tattvajnanam cha Vishnor Ihamriti janana bhranti bijam cha dagdva Sampurnananda bodhe Mahati cha purusham sthapayitva nivrittim. So he said, Vishnor namaiva pumsaha shamalamapharat punyam utpadayaccha. By chanting the names of the Supreme Lord, our sins will be removed and piety will be established. And this piety is not the material piety that takes us to Svargaloka and gives us some material prosperity. This is not material piety, this is spiritual piety that brings us closer to Krishna. Piety is also two types. Srinvatam swakataha Krishna punya shravana kirtanaha. By shravana and kirtana you will not get ordinary punya. That is spiritual punya. This punya and that punya are different. Okay, we are not doing shravana kirtana for ordinary punya, for material prosperity or entrance into heaven. Vishnur namaiva pumsam shamalamapharat punyamutpadayaccha. We get the real punya by chanting Vishnu Nama. Brahmadisthana bhogat Viratimata guroh Shripada dvandva bhaktim. Virakti or virati. Rati means attraction. Virati means lack of attraction. Right? So by chanting the name of Krishna, we will get virati. We will get detachment even to the topmost position in the material world, which is Brahmadisthana bhogat. The bhoga, the enjoyment available in the sthana of Brahma also is rejected by a devotee as if it is a blade of grass. Okay? That power, that strength of detachment comes only by chanting Krishna's names. Right? Not only that, we get Guru Bhakti. Guroho Shripada dvandva bhaktim. If you want Guru Bhakti, chant Harinam. Harinam will give us Guru Bhakti and Virakti towards material enjoyment. Tattvajnanam cha Vishnor ihamriti janana bhranti bijam cha dagdva. Tattvajnana. We will also get knowledge by chanting Krishna's names. Right? And ihamriti janana bhranti bijam cha dagdva. So bhranti bijam. Bhranti is illusion. Bija means seed. The real seed of illusion that binds us to this material world is destroyed. All our attempts for sense gratification are because of that seed of illusion. That seed is completely destroyed by chanting Krishna's name. Sampurnananda bodhe mahaticha purusham sthapayitva nivrittim. The supreme pleasure, sampurna ananda, complete happiness is obtained by chanting Krishna's names. So Mahaprabhu has come here to bestow that sampurna ananda to all of us. The real pleasure of chanting Krishna's names. So let us express our gratitude to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for enabling us to access all these wonderful benedictions. And these are the 10 aspects of Mahaprabhu's mercy. We did not discuss all of them line by line, but we have discussed a couple of pastimes where Mahaprabhu's mercy is very evident. Okay. With this I will conclude. Thank you very much. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Should we have any questions or comments? Yeah. Any questions?
If anybody has any question.
Hare Krishna Guruji. Thank you for the wonderful class on Chaitanya Leela. So, we know that Lord Chaitanya did 2 years of South India Yatra and prominent pastimes are mentioned. So, 2 years means he must have spent 2 Chaturmasas in South India. So, one Chaturmas is in Srirangam, which is elaborately described with many pastimes. But there should be another one which is not known. Any idea about that? Because 4 months somewhere.
You answered the question, not known. I don't know.
In
Where is the Chaturmas? Yeah. I'm not sure. Any other question? Comment? Reflections?
Prabhuji, you were explaining Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime with Amogha, how he was reciprocating with Amogha even though he was actually blaspheming. But at times we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so affectionate or forgiving towards Amogha, others could have a feeling that, oh, how merciful, how humble Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. But it also develops more enmity towards Amogha, because it crushes the heart of the devotees. That, oh, he is so, evil-minded towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so humble towards him. So it kind of creates more enmity towards Amogha in others.
Correct. So it need not create enmity towards him. Basically, there are several characters in Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita and our scriptures. These personalities are demonstrating certain activities and certain nature which is not very pleasant. So we should learn what not to do from their activities without disrespecting them, without hating them, without envying them. Okay. So Amogha did a mistake. The lesson for us is we should not do such mistakes. The conclusion is not we should hate Amogha. We should not behave like Amogha. That should be the conclusion. So we should not envy Amogha. That's the point. So although Amogha commented on Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is definitely a great offense, but later he was transformed. By Mahaprabhu's grace, he was transformed into a great lover of Krishna. A great critic became a great admirer of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there may be haunting past in the life of several devotees, but we should focus on the promising future, not the haunting past. So although somebody is very sinful at one point of time, by the Lord's grace, by the devotee's grace, one can give up all sins and be established in good character. So we should focus on that more than the past. If at all we are discussing the past, that's only with the intention of not doing the same mistakes that they have done, but not to demean them or disrespect them or envying them. Okay. But it's good. We are disapproving such mentality, such offensive mentality. That's good. We have to disapprove that. But we don't have to hate him. Hate the sin, not the sinner. Okay. Thank you very much. Any other question or comment? Yes.
Hare Krishna. You were mentioning about the Tapatraya Unmulanam. So we are also reading Bhagavatam, but daily in the material world there is so much.
Tapatraya Unmulanam is not happening.
Mind is filled with so much anxiety. Even sitting in the temple, so many thoughts are coming. That is there.
Especially while chanting. Especially while chanting, right?
So what should we do to come to that stage of...
See, when Bhagavatam is described to be Tapatrayonmulanam, that does not mean literally all Tapatrayas are gone. Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Devika Kleshas are gone. Right? No more fever, no more cold, no more COVID, because I am reading Bhagavatam. COVID cannot touch me. Okay, I am reading Bhagavatam. I will not get any headache. I am reading Bhagavatam, so even in sunshine I will not sweat. Even in monsoon I will not become wet. Or mosquitoes cannot bite me. Should not bite me. All the natural calamities should not affect me. So that doesn't work. As long as we are in the material world, material nature functions the way it is, and we will get affected by it. But what is the meaning of Tapatrayonmulanam? Tapatrayonmulanam does not mean Bhagavatam literally removes the Tapatrayas, but Bhagavatam equips our consciousness with the necessary maturity to see misery as mercy of Krishna. We will be able to develop that maturity by which we see Krishna's hand in all pleasant and unpleasant circumstances. Prabhupada says that if there is some good that has happened in one's life, we may acknowledge Krishna's grace. If something unpleasant is happening in our life, it's very difficult to take it as Krishna's mercy. Prabhupada says it is difficult to see it as God sent, but it is also God sent for our purification. So Bhagavatam gives us that perspective, right? Bhagavatam refines our intellect. Bhagavatam purifies our consciousness, by which we can see mercy also in misery. Bhagavatam is filled with the stories of so many devotees. Right in the first canto you see Kunti Maharani suffering, Uttara suffering, Draupadi suffering, Pandava suffering. Parikshit Maharaj cursed to die within 7 days. And you move ahead. Chitraketu Maharaj was cursed to become a demon. Okay. And who else? Indradyumna Maharaj was cursed to become an elephant. Right? So many devotees, although they are very sincere at heart, they are exalted devotees, they underwent so many difficulties. Narada Muni in his past life was the son of a maid servant, and he went to the level of prema in the association of Bhaktivedantas. 5-year-old child. His mother died suddenly. So reversals are very, very common in the lives of even great devotees. Right? So when we are reading the stories of all these pure devotees, that will equip us with the maturity not to get overwhelmed by the misery in this world. 3 types of people suffer in this world. First category, karmis, materialistic people. They suffer because of karma, their sinful activities. Clear? First case clear. Second case, practicing devotees, sadhaka bhaktas. They are practicing devotional service, they are chanting Krishna Nama. Okay? That can destroy all miseries, but they are miserable. Okay? So why devotees are practicing bhakti are also experiencing suffering? The reason is anarthas. Still there are some traces of kama, krodha, lobha, moha, right? Because of that there is some suffering. Second reason is aparadha. So they are doing devotional service, they are chanting, but there may be nama aparadha, Vaishnava aparadha, Seva aparadha, Guru aparadha, Dhama aparadha, so many aparadhas are there. So these aparadhas and anarthas are the reasons for a practicing devotee's suffering, and that suffering will only purify the heart. Krishna will give a token punishment to purify the heart of a practicing devotee who is still having a lot of anarthas and aparadhas, right? What about pure devotees? So practicing devotees suffer for their purification. Pure devotees suffer for their glorification. Okay? Pure devotees suffer because Krishna wants to prove how dedicated and faithful a devotee is. Even if my devotees face so many reversals, obstacles, calamities in life, still they don't give up their faith in me. Just like Pandavas, first canto. They underwent so many reversals. Aho kashtam, aho anyayam yadyuyam dharmanandana. But still they did not give up. Vipra dharma achyuta ashrayaha. Vipra, devotees. Dharma, bhakti. Achyuta, Krishna. They never give up Krishna, Krishna bhakti and Krishna bhaktas. Okay. Although they faced reversals. But in average sadhaka, his faith may be shaken up when there are reversals. But pure devotees, they don't give up their faith in Krishna. So to announce how faithful pure devotees are, Krishna causes suffering in their lives also. So we should see in that light. Make sense? Hare Krishna. So we'll conclude here. Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Huh? Two online questions. Online it's happening? Okay. Yes.
Online, there is a question by Vrinda Mataji. You mentioned that all the concerts of Krishna are all Srimati Radharani's parts and parcels, her amshas. But in this case, all the concerts of Krishna, the Lakshmis, Gopis, Queens of Dwarka, etc., should be able to give the same amount of love to Krishna if they are the parts of the divine perfect love. But this is not the case, as Srimati Radharani is the best. So can you please explain how this statement works?
The question has the answer. It's easy question. They are parts and parcels, they are amshas, right? So if she is the source and the expansions are just amshas, how can they exhibit as much love as she showed? Right? So Radharani is the supreme epitome of love. She is the complete abode of Krishna Prema, and her amshas will show an amsha of her Prema. Right? The Queens of Dwaraka, Lakshmis of Vaikuntha, they're amshas of Radharani, right? So their Prema for the Lord is also amsha of her love. Okay? It cannot be full. First rank is always Radharani. No one can defeat her. It will not go into any fluctuations any time. So Radharani always gets the first rank. Okay. Next question. Her entire existence is meant for Krishna's pleasure. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you are quoting so many verses. How are you able to remember these verses?
One child also asked, Sri Radhika. She asked how to remember so many verses in our kids' class. So, I would say if you love the shloka, you will remember the shloka. You should fall in love with the shloka either for its meter or for its meaning. It will go into memory. Okay, that's the first step. So secondly, yes, there are so many tips. We discussed at least 7 tips of how to memorize shlokas. So you can keep a habit of daily reciting a few shlokas, some 10, 12 shlokas, okay, to begin with. At the same time of the day, you keep reciting for several days, they will go into the memory. You start hearing the recitations. Prabhupada says this. You should hear the recitation of other devotees and then learn how to pronounce them, and then you chant, right? And you break the shloka into small parts, one line. Just take one line, repeatedly recite. Second line, repeatedly recite. Third line, repeatedly recite. Like that, you break that 4 slokas, 4-line sloka into individual parts and start reciting. So that makes things easy. There are many more tips. You can read the book, 4th chapter, Art of Studying and Teaching Scriptures. So we cannot share everything in one Q&A session. Okay, thank you. So thank you very much. Tomorrow we'll meet. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So tomorrow morning we'll have Sri Ram Katha, and then evening